her statement. So that's something we're concerned with about. But as a family, they want to know just what happened. Wouldn't you want to know if you had a passed away loved one? Of course you would. You want to know what happened, not just that the shooter we believe is dead and that's it. No, they want to know more. They want to know facts. They want to get some closure, know how all of this transpired. And without knowing the facts, you don't know if somebody else messed up. Maybe there were some mess ups along the way, other mess ups. Not only somebody, how did he get the gun? He's a felon. So, but anyway, next we'll hear from more family. And would you like to introduce yourself first?
I'm Vanessa. I'm the sister, and this message is from the whole family. We are here because we want justice for my brother Hector Vasquez. We need answers as to why William Solomon Lewis was in the streets and had access to guns. This case highlights a systematic failure of oversight. Multiple courts and state and federal had already labeled William Solomon Lewis a violent and dangerous offender. This is not just a local issue. It raises serious questions about how supervision, communication, and accountability broke down at every level. The Vasquez family and other victims deserve answers, and the public deserves reform to make sure this doesn't happen again. We will carry this heartbreak forever, and Hector's memory will never fade away. He was a hardworking man, the super glue that held our family together. Though our hearts are broken, our faith and love for Hector gives us strength. We are asking for justice, for truth, and for the real reform so that no other family has to experience this kind of pain. We thank everyone who has lifted us in prayer and supported us through this tragedy. Justice for Hector is justice for all. Above all, I and the family still praise the God that we serve, Jesus Christ, that He will be the only one that will continue to help our family in this difficult time. God bless you all and thank you. No question. My younger. No more questions.
That's it for her. Would any other members of the family like to say a few words about Hector? In Spanish, yeah. You can speak in Spanish.
Buenas tardes. Voy a hablar en español porque mi inglés no es muy bueno. Yo como papá de Héctor quiero que entienda que la familia está destrozada y lo que queremos son respuestas que lo digan, que los expliquen, porque es una masacre que esta persona hizo. No fue uno, fueron 3 personas. Lo que quiero saber es por qué un individuo con ese récord, según mis hijos me han leído el récord de él, estuvo preso muchos años.
You've been listening in as family members of one of the victims from the shooting in Southwest Houston. I believe this was just over a week ago. Speak and obviously remember their loved one, I believe Hector Vasquez. Obviously you heard them tearful and in the midst of grieving, of course. We'll keep following that story for you. In the meantime, let's transition back to our nation's capital, where House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries is speaking right now on what is now more than 2 weeks into the government shutdown.
Apologize for his remarks, and I know his remarks have been condemned across the board by Democrats in the Commonwealth and Virginia and beyond, and that's the right thing to do.
Mr. Jeffries.
Yeah.
Do you think what's happening in healthcare with people losing their insurance is a bigger crisis than the Trump administration, for example, illegally impounding funds or otherwise not following laws that were passed by Congress?
The Democratic alternative in terms of keeping the government funded, as well as addressing the Republican healthcare crisis, also has guardrails in it to make sure that if we reach a bipartisan agreement, House Democrats, Senate Democrats, House Republicans, Senate Republicans, on a spending bill that's signed into law by the president, that the policies contained in that spending bill are actually implemented by the administration. And that, of course, will remain an important topic of conversation and discussion. But we have made clear this healthcare crisis is devastating people across the country. Last week we heard from a 29-year-old woman from rural West Virginia, Mariah Plant, who takes care of her brother full-time. Her brother is autistic, legally blind, entirely nonverbal. And Mariah is able to take care of her brother because of Medicaid at home in a loving environment. That Medicaid is now at risk for her and her neighbors in rural West Virginia, a state that Donald Trump won by 42 points. Mariah is also a small business entrepreneur of modest means. She gets her health care through Affordable Care Act tax credits. If those tax credits expire, Mariah Plant is going to lose health care or have to pay thousands of dollars more that she cannot afford. And Mariah's hospital in Wyoming County, West Virginia, rural West Virginia, is also at risk of closing because of Republican policies and the healthcare crisis that they've created. It's an urgent crisis. We're fighting for people like Mariah Plant, others in West Virginia, people in Wyoming.
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries there speaking on what is now more than 2 weeks into the government shutdown. We're going to head to break. We'll be right back after this. We are back now. Let's talk about sports. Nate Griffin is here to talk further about that. What's up, sir?
I'll tell you what, DeLon, there's a lot going on this weekend and next weekend, and people are starting to get ready for it right now. First of all, you've got, let's talk about the Dash. Dash are playing their final game of the season at Shell Energy Stadium this weekend. Kickoff time is 6:30, and they're going to be giving away free scarves. In fact, I should have worn my scarf in here so you could look at exactly how it looks. It's a pretty scarf. And it actually matches the 20-year jersey from the Dash and Dynamo. So, yeah, it's going to be a real good day, I think, for them. Final game of the season. They're still trying to make a push for the playoffs, and that game starts at 6:30. You can get your scarf. And, by the way, that is Fan Appreciation Night. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. As far as college football is concerned, Texas Southern weekend, it's their homecoming. Mm-hmm. And so we'll have a preview of that tomorrow morning at 7:45. They will be taking on Virginia Lynchburg. And right now, Chris Dishman and Texas Southern, they are 3-3 on the season. He's looking to go 4-3, and I think he'll have a good shot at being able to do that. University of Houston, let me just kind of run down the list and tell you what's happening with the other college teams. And, of course, a lot of folk want to know what's happening with Texas and Texas A&M. But Texas will be at the University of Kentucky. As you well know, they beat Oklahoma in the Red River rivalry. They're now 4-2 on the season, ranked number 21. After that win, they finally got a national ranking, so good for them. You've also got Texas Tech, undefeated, and they have a shot to win. Yeah, they're undefeated. They are 6-0, and they're really, really good. They're going to be 7-0 after this weekend because they play Arizona State University, and I'm sure I'm going to hear something from Sally and Lena from that, okay, because that's their alum, that's where they graduated from college. You also have Texas A&M. They will be at Arkansas. Arkansas is 2-4. Texas A&M right now 6-0. Mike Elko really has them playing well. And the University of Houston, give you a real quick gander at that and tell you what they're going to be playing this weekend, because right now they're playing pretty good football too. University of Houston in the Big 12, and they will be hosting Arizona. In fact, this is their homecoming weekend as well. So you have two institutions in the city, University of Houston as well as Texas Southern, homecoming weekend. So it's going to be a whole lot of fun surrounding both those institutions. Arizona is 4-2. They are the Wildcats, the Arizona State team. They're the Sun Devils. So remember that. U of H is 5-1 after their win this weekend. And, of course, they're playing pretty good football. So that's your local scene in terms of college football. In regards to, before I get to the Texans, I got to tell you everything else because I want to make sure you're locked in. 5 area games you want to keep your eyes on. Fulshire at Strake Jesuit. That's going to be a good game. That game is tonight, along with Jordan at Katy. That game is 6:30. Then Klein Collins at Magnolia at 7 o'clock. All 3 of those games, big games, I think they are, at 7 o'clock, and all of them are tonight except for the Fulshire Straight Jesuit game, which is 6:30. Jordan at Katy at 6:30, 6 o'clock and 6:30, respectively. Then Lamar at Heights High School. That's tomorrow. The Woodlands at College Park is also tomorrow. So those are the 5 big games, I think, in the city that you might want to make sure you're watching and keeping your eye on. And if you're not, we'll have that for you tomorrow. As far as the Texans are concerned, the Texans don't play Sunday. They play Monday Night Football. Monday Night Football. They are going to be in Seattle. And guess what? Seattle has the number 2 ranked defense against the run.
Oh,
you hear me, DeLon?
I didn't realize.
DeLon, did you hear me?
I didn't realize.
The number 2 ranked defense against them. Not only that, you know how many touchdowns they've allowed in 6 games?
How many?
2. Dos.
Ah.
So you got to figure out how you're going to beat these guys. Right? You don't have a Joe Mixon. You got Nick Chubb running really, really well. You got Woody. You know, those guys are playing well. Damian Pierce, those guys. I mean, all those guys. Damian isn't seeing a whole lot of action yet. But I'm really, really anxious to see how they're going to attack that defense, because Seattle is a pretty good football team this year. Probably the best defense they've had in a long time since they went to the Super Bowl against the New England Patriots and tried to win it with a pass when they should have run it into the end zone. Marshawn Lynch, I don't know if you remember that or not, but that was definitely a controversial call in my eyesight. So they're really, really good, and really curious to see how well they're going to play. Okay, so now you have your update on the Texans. Got to tell you, did you know we have some Cowboy fans in the city? We have some Cowboy fans right here in the station. We do.
Yeah, all right.
I don't know why. No, I'm just kidding. I'm a Dak Prescott. I hear you. I feel you. Detroit Lions fan, I get it. 100%. I 100% get it. But Dak Prescott, I'm a big fan. We actually, Rice, again, at 19,000th time I told you, but just to give it context, got a chance to see Dak Prescott against the Owls in the Liberty Bowl game in Memphis. When I saw him as a sophomore, I knew he was going to be probably a 1 to 4th round pick.
Where was he at?
He was at Mississippi State.
Oh, okay.
He played at Mississippi State and ended up getting drafted out of Mississippi State in the 4th round. How could a guy like that be a 4th round pick? He's not. No, he just dropped. But Dallas Cowboys trying to find their way, and Dak Prescott, that's who you see right there. He is an amazing young man, an amazing athlete, and has really gotten his game to the next level. So we'll see what happens with the Dallas Cowboys. Rockets, the Houston Rockets, they are in Atlanta tonight. You saw a little something from them yesterday.
Yeah.
You saw Amen Thompson?
Day before yesterday. Day before yesterday.
Yeah, day before yesterday. Was it day before? Well, we ran the highlights
Whatever
yesterday. It was the day
Yeah,
before.
Yeah. I'm losing
Amen
my train of
Thompson.
thought. Yeah.
Amen Thompson. They played the Pelicans.
Yeah.
And the Pelicans tried to rough up. One of their players tried to rough up Amen Thompson. That wasn't working. That's not the guy you want to pick on. Not Amen Thompson. Too big, too physical. He's not taking that.
Yeah.
And I'm really curious to see how well the Rockets are going to play with KD in the lineup. I think they're going to be good. He's showing leadership already. So Reed Shepherd, Amen Thompson, they'll have the backcourt, and we'll see what happens. But they play tonight in another preseason game. Don't get too excited about that, the preseason. You just want to see how the players move with each other. If they have the chemistry like you and I do, we have chemistry. Next week is when we'll know more, when they open the season next Friday at Toyota Center.
All right.
And we'll be previewing it all week.
Well, looking forward to it.
Yes,
Nate,
sir.
Appreciate you.
Absolutely. You too.
We're going to head to break. We'll be right back after this. All right, we are back now. We're talking politics, and of course, we have Greg Grugan and Mark Jones. You're at Rice, right?
That's correct, Rice.
We talk to you so much. I just know you. We interview you all the time. So we know the University of Houston, the Hobby School of Public Affairs, just released data showing where some voters in CD18 stand, as we are just 2 weeks away from Election Day. Your thoughts, surprises? I'll wait, because I thought I'm not surprised to see those top three, but I didn't know if maybe the order would be a little different. What are y'all thinking looking at the numbers?
Well, so looking at the numbers, we see that you have two frontrunners. They're in a top tier by themselves. Christian Menifee, who has a 4-point advantage over Amanda Edwards. And then in a second tier down, you have Jolanda Jones. I don't think we would want to count her out of a runoff. Remember, and this is clear, what's clear from the poll is this is going to a February runoff. But when you look at the poll numbers, Jones is clearly lagging behind both Menifee and Edwards, but she isn't so far out that it's inconceivable that she could catch one of them and get into the runoff. What's also clear is that there is no other candidate with any hope whatsoever. A lot of the earlier polls, including one we did, only included one Republican, and so a lot of the Republicans all latched on to Carmen Montiel as the candidate. But in this poll, they had the option of choosing among all of the Republican candidates. There are 5 altogether, and Montiel's support dropped down to 6%. And what we see is that more than 2/3 of likely voters, and these are people who are really committed to voting, don't know who Carmen Montiel is, nor Isaiah Martin, nor George Foreman IV. The three top candidates, and if there's anybody who's going to get into runoff, it's going to be Menifee, Edwards, and with Jones right now on the outside looking in.
That top three, did that surprise you, or was that pretty expected, you feel like?
Well, the top three didn't surprise me. The gap between Menifee and Edwards on one hand and Jones on the other was a little larger than we'd seen in previous polls, and so it was something of a surprise. But I think suggests the fact that Jones has raised less money and spent less money than both Menifee and Edwards, and that's probably cost her. It probably didn't help her also that she had to spend so much time in these special sessions, or essentially leaving out in the quorum break outside of the state instead of here in Texas campaigning.
Obviously, Greg, we know you've spent years covering all of these individuals. What are you thinking looking at these numbers?
So I want to say this. As soon as Mark's numbers came out, I contacted some folks who've been working with Jones, and they say they've got their own polling that shows that Jones is ahead.
Ahead of Edwards and Menifee.
Yes,
okay.
Leading this race altogether. So, and they seem pretty confident. Of course, you've got to express confidence at this stage of the game. Sure. Jones has been a lightning rod of controversy, but she has been in that district. Her House district is within 18, so she has some organic support. One thing she did not get, I don't think she got the endorsement of the LGBTQ caucus, even though she's of that community. That went to Christian Menifee, I believe. The other thing is Menifee and Amanda Edwards have been up on television. Menifee has a significant buy going on right now, and it may be a resource battle. This is a district which could provide some surprises. But it will depend on what happens in the next few weeks. Really, it really is the get out the vote, getting your people out there kind of thing at an organic level. You agree?
Yeah, no, special elections are always tough to poll on because when you're polling on a special election, you're trying to predict turnout among a population that we haven't had a special election in CD18, so we don't know exactly who's going to turn out. It's not like a primary where we know who generally turns out in primaries or a general election. What we did find in the survey, though, is that the thing that is the real Achilles heel for Jolanda Jones is her really considerable unpopularity among white voters. Roughly about 35 to 40% of the voters in the special election are white, and Jones gets almost no support from them. If it's limited to black voters, she actually is head-to-head with Menifee and Edwards. She does almost as well, but it's the gap is explained by her inability to win support among white voters. I think for Jones, the key to her essentially narrowing that gap and leapfrogging either Edwards or Menifee is turning out black voters in a larger number, and particularly black voters without a college education, more working class black voters, because they do support Jolanda Jones more than Menifee and Edwards. But the other demographics are working in Menifee and Edwards' favor. And as Greg mentioned, Menifee and Edwards also have more campaign dollars, meaning that if there are undecided voters out there, they're able to reach them better than Jones. And then when it comes to mobilizing people to the polls, they also should have an advantage over the state representative.
Was it surprising to see Menifee ahead of Edwards? I mean, obviously we know both of them popular in their own right. Obviously, though, we know Amanda Edwards has run several times in the past. She was very close this last time, from my understanding. And then the time before that, she wasn't that far behind Sheila Jackson Lee. So to see her behind Christian Menifee now, especially, and from what I hear, obviously me still being fairly new to Houston, I know this district specifically is about name recognition, from my understanding, right? So you would think she would be ahead, I would assume.
Well, I mean, Greg.
Yeah, Menifee has won countywide as county attorney twice. Now, he just narrowly won in his latest reelection bid. And so his name ID has grown. He has often been affiliated with powerful Commissioner Precinct 1 and former state Senator Rodney Ellis, who has supported him in the past. And one would assume that his political organization also is behind Christian Menifee as well. He and I had a discussion after a panel, and he says, why do you suggest I'm operated by Rodney Ellis? And I said, well, he supported you from the very beginning, And if you disagree with that, please come on. What's your point? And talk to the folks, the viewers, and dispel any myth that you say we're propagating. Menifee, his ads right now are really quite good, showing him as a family man, as somebody who will fight. They've got spirit, and they're very cocky, talking about how he has beaten the Texas Attorney General and gone to war for the folks of Harris County, and will do the same thing in Congress. I think the term is take them to school. You know, and so, look, people aren't paying attention, a good chunk of those voters, until these last few weeks. And those who are up on the air may have something of an advantage.
No, I agree. And where Menifee also has just strong institutional support. If we look at sort of who's endorsing him, which isn't, I don't think endorsements make a tremendous amount of effect or have a tremendous amount of effect, but in these low turnout races, they can, and pretty much all of the Democrats you can think of, whether it's Lena Hidalgo, Rodney Ellis, or now more recently Jasmine Crockett, who is very popular among Democratic primary voters, those endorsements help her, help him.
Yeah, that is what I was specifically hearing. I know we're going to wrap up in a second, and especially because I was thinking specifically Amanda Edwards will be leading the pack, but I'm hearing from some voters, especially younger voters, they're looking for someone who's a bit more, in a sense, vocal and more of a, I guess the term I've heard is like a shark, in a sense, like Jasmine Crockett, where she's very direct. She can go down low with you a little bit. And it seems like, to me, people are feeling like Christian Menifee would do that before Amanda Edwards. Is that fair to say?
Well, he's portraying himself as a fighter, and he certainly has the record of litigating against the state on numerous levels, you know, whether it be guaranteed basic income, whether it be voting rights. He's not afraid to go up and file legislation or litigation that pushes back against Republican leadership. Yeah. And so I think he's legit in saying he's gone to battle for those issues that are very important to those young voters that you were just referring to.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I mean, I think Menifee definitely, what Democratic primary voters want to see right now, and Democratic primary voters are the people who will dominate the special election. It's the same people who will turn out in March, turn out now. They want to see someone fighting back against Greg Abbott and being against President Trump, and Menifee's doing a good job portraying himself as that person. I think Edwards and Jones also have the ability to do so, and to the extent to which Edwards has more money than Jones, she may be able to portray that fight to a greater extent and get voters to be aware of it in a way that Jones might not be able to, simply due to a lack of campaign dollars.
Real quickly, Jolanda Jones is extremely articulate, and we saw those skills during the redistricting battle, a battle that Democrats ultimately lost, but she was a very vocal, articulate, impassioned spokesperson. Yeah. And so I think she got a lot of exposure on social media. I know when I posted her stuff, there were lots of hits.
Yeah, I saw it. Okay, we will see what happened. Fellas, we could talk about this all day. So appreciate you all and your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're going to head to break. We'll be right back after this. over Houston Air Show hits Ellington Airport this weekend. And as we talk about the government shutdown, curious, will that actually have an impact on the big event? Tan Radford is here, checking that out for you. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. You know, the government shutdown is impacting several things, including this show, but it's still going to go on. So that's the good news. It's going to happen on the 18th and 19th of this month, but there will be a slight difference this year. The U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds has canceled, so they've pulled out.
Really?
The show is still going to go on, like we said. They are offering tickets next year, general admission for those who are not able to see the Thunderbirds this year. So if you have a ticket and you were going to see the Thunderbirds, you can go again next year at no cost because it's a general admission ticket and they're going to be there next year, hopefully, you know, to cover for not being able to be seen this year. So here's some visuals of what you can expect if you want to go this weekend or if you haven't been. You know, it's a lot of different aircrafts there. The air show will continue, like we said, with civilian performers and vintage warbirds. So unfortunately, the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds will not be able to perform this year.
And they are very popular.
Yes, they are very popular. You know, this is a popular event. I think it's been going on for about 40 years, I would say. And it's for all ages. Ticket prices are $62.90 on Saturday and $60.76 on Sunday for ages 15 and up. So if you're 14 and under, it's free as long as you go with an adult.
Wow. Well, you spoke with the organizers. I imagine they're excited to
yes,
have another
they want
year.
everybody to come out. They know, you know, the Thunderbirds will not be performing, but they still have other stuff in store for you all if you want to come out and enjoy the festivities. Like I said, it's been, you know, it's a tradition for a lot of families. It's been going on for about 40 years, so it's a lot to see, and I'm sure they work year-round trying to put this show together. And unfortunately, we did have a government shutdown, so it kind of impacted it in some ways, but it's still a lot to look forward to, I would say.
Yeah, that's real. Okay. Tan, thank you so much. We appreciate
you.
We're headed to break. We'll be back right after this. Forgive me. Actually, we are not going to break. Houston Mayor John Whitmire and the fire department honored some firefighters who helped out during the devastating Hill Country floods earlier this summer. Here's a look at that special ceremony for you.
Chief Marty, it is so comforting to know that we have a chief that is a man of faith, because we need our faith this morning. Thank you to Councilmember Willie Davis, who is a pastor. Thank you for being here, Pastor Davis. Joaquin Martinez, thank you for your leadership. And Peck Twala Carter, the respect that they are demonstrating is significant, because you see, we've used this legacy room for very diverse events. Kind of brings us together. It recognizes by its name legacy those that have gone before us, and also gives us an opportunity to bring our community together. I can't think of a more special event than we're having this morning, because since the tragedy, in talking to a number of the families, certainly Jenny and Doug, Ellen, Gwen, thanks for being here. How do I, as a mayor, properly express the unity that the tragedy exhibited by bringing us together? This is a very diverse city. I travel it regularly, but your loss and this tragedy brought Houston together. So I had a huge responsibility when I talked to Jenny, and she said it would be such an opportunity for the families to come together and thank these first responders. You know, God does not allow us to choose when we lose a loved one, our loved ones, our friends, but He allows us to come together to support one another and exhibit our love for our loved ones. So today is special. We've used this. We needed this in the the turmoil of today's world, we need to come together to share our loss and also know the sun rose this morning and that we are going to support each other. I stand ready, and the city stands ready to do anything we can to assist your families going forward. And it starts today by recognizing your heroes. And so everyone knows how I feel about Houston Fire and our police and our city employees. I consider, those that pick up debris after a storm, we're all in this together. They're first responders. But for you, Jenny, to talk to me, and Doug was on the phone, and tell me how when your heart was on fire that weekend, I believe it was a Sunday afternoon I spoke to you, it would be such a moment of healing to recognize these first responders who went beyond their call of duty. So, ladies, gentlemen, the city thanks you, all 2.3 million of us. Thank you for your compassion, your love of our fellow citizens, and as the chief and Marty's mentioned, in their greatest time of need. So let's share our love for one another this morning. Our purpose in life is to help others leave this world a better place than the one we found it. And Ellen, I'm looking forward to hearing from you. For someone that has to do a lot of public speaking, and I started back as a high school student, this is probably going to be the toughest thing you ever have to do in your life. But you were beaming that personality and intellect when I got here. So I'm going to yield my time to you and your family and just say, this is where we need to be today. And thank you, Jenny and Doug, for being the face of the families that I've been in contact with, but let's go forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Whitmire. At this time, Mayor Whitmire, Marty, and I will call each of the volunteers to stage to receive the recognition. When we call your name, please enter from the ramp to receive your certificate and process to the other side of the stage after a quick photo walk. Houston Fire Department presents the Certificate of Excellence on this date, the 16th day of October, 2026, to Firefighter Jennifer Garza for her dedication and service to the families and victims of the massive Central Texas floods in July of 2025. Signed, Mayor John Whitmire. Now we have Firefighter Tyler Graff also receiving the Certificate of Excellence for his dedication and service to the families and victims of the massive Central floods in July of 2025. Certificate of Excellence on this day, the 16th day of October, 2025, to Engineer Operator Sarah Carabias.
Thank you for joining us here for the news. It continues with Rashi Vats up next.
Welcome to Houston Live and Local. I'm so glad that you are joining us at the 2 p.m. hour. It is October 16th. I have to look at my computer. Usually all the days just kind of blend in. You might feel the same way. Now, we do have a lot going on. The owner of the Turkey Leg Hut has been charged. We'll have details on that. Also, we are looking at what's happening in the Oval Office. President Trump is expected to make some sort of a big announcement, and so our eyes are there, and we'll bring that to you live whenever that becomes available. First, though, I got to tell you, it was my kids' field day today. Outside, and whoa, the ragweed or whatever is out there got to me.
Oh no!
And I think a
Were
lot
you
of
sneezing
other children. I was
coughing,
sneezing. I was like,
watery eyes.
And I think it was like that for a lot of the kids. I mean, the good thing is, in the playground area, there's not that many trees, but still, I know that the allergies.
Yeah,
really
ragweed levels have been extremely high, so almost as bad as it gets. But yeah. We need some relief.
Yeah.
We need some rainfall. We need some relief from on the super high pollen levels, and we need some heat relief as well. So
that'd be
relief
great.
is the word of the day.
And you're
Are we
going to
get it?
Will you tell us good news?
A little bit.
All right.
I wish I could do more.
take that.
I do what I can,
Yes.
but I've got to work with Mother Nature. Sometimes Mother Nature doesn't want to cooperate.
It's a hard job.
Yes, it's a hard job.
We love you regardless.
We love you regardless. Yeah. So let's start off by talking about the drought monitor, because of course today is Drought Monitor Thursday. It's the day. Taco Tuesday, Drought Monitor Thursday.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! All right, it's the day we get an official update on the latest drought conditions across the area. And there have been some changes. Houston still officially in the abnormally dry category, but we do have the severe drought that has now crept back into parts of our area. So you can see just south of Eagle Lake, west of East Bernard, and northwest of Wharton, we do have severe drought conditions now officially in the area. You can see Atascocita was already in the moderate drought. They continue to be in the moderate drought. Liberty County, really just about all of Liberty County, and a big chunk of Chambers County in that moderate drought, and that extends into southeastern Montgomery County as well. Also, abnormally dry conditions have moved into Galveston County. So, as expected, the drought conditions are slowly but surely getting worse, and we really need some rainfall, more than just a brief shower or two. So, with the very dry air that's been in place this week, with the really dry ground, of course, the threat for fires continues to increase. So we do still have a moderate to high chance, really very high chance in parts of the area for these brush fires, wildfires to break out. In fact, we had one to break out yesterday around the Aldine area, and we had one actually today that the Atascocita Fire Department was able to put out. That was a little bit earlier. It wasn't super huge, but it just reminds you that it doesn't take much with the environment out there that we have for these brush fires, these wildfires to get going. So please be careful with any outdoor burning. Really, in the majority of the counties, you can't do any outdoor burning anyway because we've got multiple counties under burn bans, and I just checked, it looks like this particular graphic didn't update, but Harris County, I believe, has been added to the burn ban list. So I think we're just left with Galveston County, Brazoria County, I think Calhoun County not in the burn ban. So outdoor burning, not a good idea. And like I said, in most counties, it is banned at this point because we have been so dry for the last month to month and a half. Now, we did have a period earlier in the year where we got plenty of rain, but that dried up. That came to an end, and it's been super dry, like I said, for about the last 5 to 6 weeks. So here's some important things to remember with this high fire danger in place. Definitely want to use extreme caution if you're working with equipment that can make a spark. Try not to throw those cigarettes out your window. Yeah, it's convenient to do that. You're driving, you're finished with it, you want to get rid of it quickly, but that can start a fire, and we don't want that because fires can spread rapidly in this type of weather setup. Make sure to check your chains, bearings, and exhaust systems. Make sure not to park on that dry grass, and you definitely want to obey any burn bans and other restrictions across the area. All right, let's talk about how dry it's been for the month of October so far. Barely a drop of rain for Bush Airport in Houston, a trace of rain. We're about 2.5 inches behind. 1/100 of an inch of rain for Hobby Airport in Houston for the month of October. So that'll be for the first 15 days or so. Palacios, Galveston, anywhere from 1/4 of an inch to close to 1/2 inch of rain, but that's still almost 2 inches below normal. So we need a break. Our percent of normal rain is way lower than it should be, and we need a pattern change. Right now, we're not going to get much of that pattern change today, but you will notice some subtle, slight differences out there. Humidity levels are starting to pick up a bit as southerly flow returns. Temperatures are still toasty. We've got most spots in the 80s, but look to the north and west, just west of El Paso, just northwest of Amarillo. That is a cold front, and that is what we are hoping will make it down for the weekend to bring in at least some small changes, slightly cooler air, and maybe a few downpours, maybe even a few rumbles of thunder as well. Our satellite and radar will show you clouds making an appearance. It's been so sunny this week, but with that moisture returning from the Gulf, clouds are going to be getting a little thicker today and especially tomorrow. Maybe a little drizzle today, but better shower and rain chances and storm chances will come in for Friday and Saturday. So muggy air is returning for the next few days. We got showers and a few storms coming with a weak cold front this weekend. Still no major drops in temps for now. We're not talking about a 10, 20 degree drop, but at least we do have the chance for some cooling rain showers, and that will help out our fire and drought conditions. All right, future relative humidity values showing the green getting pumped back in. That represents the moisture levels increasing, and notice the green is getting a little darker. We're getting more moisture, more humidity back in here for Friday and Saturday, and that will set the stage for what will hopefully be some better chances for rain. So I've talked a lot about rain and you're like, well, where is it? It's not coming today for most of you. There's only a low 10% shot today, but look at 3 p.m. Friday. Spotty downpours in the area stretching from Sealy to Rosenberg to Katy, areas that are dealing with some pretty big drought conditions, so that will definitely help. The Woodlands, Houston likely getting in on some showers. And then Saturday, we're likely going to get another round during the afternoon and evening. So bottom line, at least we do have some subtle slight changes coming. Rain chances are going to be increasing as we go into the next few days. Here's your planner for Friday and Saturday. It looks like we will have a better shot for showers, 10% chance today, but about a 40% chance as we go into the next few afternoons. So we're looking great. It's not really the kind of cold front that I would want to tell you about. You know, it'd be nice to have highs in the 70s, Rashi, or 60s, but you know, it's not happening now. Maybe by November or December, but at least we got something to look forward to this weekend other than more hot, more dry weather, too warm for October, feeling like summer. I've been saying that too much.
You can grill out. You know, I didn't realize that those were sunglasses in the graphic there. I thought they were burger patties.
Oh, wow. You must be hungry.
So, all right, our producer director says that it was pepperoni. One said it was ground meat.
Oh,
so,
wow. Okay, so I guess next we need to do name what's in the picture.
Yes.
Be creative.
All right. So I was like, well, maybe you could go grill outside, you know, do a little of that because it's going to be hot. So,
yeah,
anyway.
I think everybody's hungry.
Yes.
Including me. I have not had breakfast or lunch today.
Oh, Lord. Well, you got to have some of that.
Yes.
All right, Ramisha, thank you. All right, now let's talk about the turkey leg hut. We're not talking about food. We're actually talking about the owner. Apparently, he is charged with allegedly helping a man hide that was wanted for kidnapping in Harris County. We're talking about Nakia Holmes. She was arrested on Wednesday and charged with hindering the arrest of a wanted suspect, Jonathan Saison. Court documents say officers allegedly saw Saison at Holmes' home in Cyprus. Holmes then came back to her home and left again with another person. She was then pulled over by police and did not answer when asked if anyone was at her home. Documents state she did maintain no one else was at her house and had no knowledge of Saison, but Saison is accused of attacking his ex-girlfriend with a tire iron and kidnapping her while he was out on bond for some previous charges. All right, now to a shooting that we told you about last week happening over in Southwest Houston. So one of the victims, 35-year-old Hector Vasquez, his family is speaking out. Let's listen to what they had to say.
Bruce, and I'm here today as Hector's wife, not just to mourn him, but to fight for him. Hector wasn't just a bystander. He wasn't just a mechanic. He was a husband, a son, a brother, an uncle, and a friend. He was kind, funny, loyal, someone who lit up every room he walked into. He loved his family deeply, and we loved him just as much, and now he's gone. My husband was murdered by someone who should have never been free. This man had a violent history. He had already shot someone in Sugar Land, and yet he was still on the streets, still walking free, still a danger. And no alerts to citizens of him, no alerts of the danger that he was. Because of that failure, my husband's life was stolen and our lives are shattered. I will now grow old without the man I plan to grow old with. We're here today not just in grief, but in outrage. Why wasn't this man taken off the streets? Why wasn't Houston alerted? Why wasn't the community warned or protected? There must be accountability because this was preventable. We're seeking justice for Hector. We're demanding change in Houston. Gun violence has stolen too many lives. The system has failed us too many times, and we cannot keep letting this happen. So I ask the city, the officials, and the community to stand with us, hear us, help us. Help us make sure no other family has to go through this. To our friends, our family, and everyone standing beside us, thank you for your support. Your strength gives us strength. And we will not stop until there's justice for Hector, because his life matters, because every life taken by preventable violence matters. And I also wanted to take the opportunity to state that Hector, the mechanic that passed away, did not have no type of relationship with the killer and the woman that was killed. This was not a love triangle. I just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you so much for sharing a little bit. I wanted to ask you, you were his wife. How long have you guys been married for? And tell us a little bit about Hector. What made you fall in love with him?
We're together for 7 years. And Hector was a beautiful person, very genuine. He was always willing to help anyone in need and never expected anything in return. And to see him be gone breaks my heart because it was just a regular day at his shop. Just a regular day checking out a job that someone needed in need of help of, and I never thought I would get the call. Lo que nos ha pasado en nuestra familia es muy difícil. Uno piensa que va a perder una familia cuando ya están de alta edad, ¿verdad? Nunca a los 35 años. Y lo que hizo esta persona es, nos quitó nuestro futuro. Nos quitó nuestro futuro. Teníamos muchos planes. Era hermano, era hijo, era esposo, era amigo. Y no se lo merecía.
Yara, ¿la policía les ha dicho algo? ¿No les han dicho nada?
No nos han dicho nada, no nos han dicho nada y por eso estamos aquí para pedir justicia para Hector.
With Hector's killer being gone, I know you want justice, you say you want change to come. What specifically do you want to change? Is it laws? What would you like to see change specifically?
Everything. Someone that had such a violent history should have never been let free. If he would have been kept in jail, none of this would have happened. Those 3 lives that were murdered, they would have still be here. They had their own families. I'm pretty sure they had their own children. That's what I mean. I want change in everything.
You said you had no communication with the police. What would you say to them right now about this entire situation?
I want an explanation to why this man was let free. Why, after the incident that happened in Sugarland, no one went after him. That gave him enough time to go to Fondren and shoot the guy that was at the mechanic shop across from Hector.
All right, very sad situation there. Now, we are keeping a close eye on Commissioner's Court happening right now, so let's listen in.
No evaluation, cost effectiveness, I mean, goodness, how do you know without evaluation? But also, we had to cut a bunch of other related public safety programs. Ease of implementation, again, I wouldn't say that that was strong. No collaboration or partnerships, it's all coming from us, and certainly there's not an environmental sustainability piece, nor an equity piece. So I think that ideally we respect the time that so many people have spent on this by following the strategic plan that we tout to the community. Commissioner Ellis and then Commissioner Briones.
Commissioner Briones?
Commissioner Briones.
Thank you. Mr. Dickerman, I know OCA circulated motions. I'm ready to move forward. If the team is, so the first motion to direct the county administrator beginning April 2026 to present quarterly updates to Commissioner's Court on strategic plan implementation, progress, and outcomes, God bless you, with recommendations when applicable for departments and cross-departmental teams that merit public recognition for demonstrating excellence in advancing strategic initiatives and other strategic priorities. The second motion is motion to direct department heads to coordinate with each other as applicable and with OCA to provide updates to Commissioners Court regarding 5 to 10 of the 22 FY26 budget guideline priorities consisting of operational imperatives and select strategic initiatives through an existing or new concise report submitted in collaboration with the Strategic Planning Committee and any applicable goal area committees. And the third motion to direct all OCA reporting departments to add a link to the strategic planning and strategic plan and action tracker to their websites. These were the three motions circulated by OCA this morning.
Thank you, Commissioner.
All right, motion by Commissioner Briones, second by Commissioner Ellis. Did you guys have something to add? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Let's move on to item 2. That's a discussion on the hiring freeze. Commissioner Ellis.
Thank you. I wanted to get some impact. I know in the budget, the hiring freezes were to, the assumption was it would save us $25 million. Is that right? And
that's the target, Commissioner, yes.
25? And what will these exemptions cost?
Roughly $6 million, Commissioner.
And how will we, I know we got to have a balanced budget or we'll be digging a hole for the next cycle. This is the first item I can think of. Will we distribute this to other departments? So how will we make up for this 6.4, 5.9?
So originally when the hiring freeze was being discussed, the number of eligible positions was, I want to say, $36 million. So there's still some green grass there related to how much the goal was set versus how much in exemptions we have at this point. We'll be coming back with a process for how we're going to account for those savings and be able to essentially book them so that that funding can't be transferred over to non-labor or used in some other way.
Are you able to make some prediction this early about what the shortfall would be for next year?
We can update the 5-year financial plan and provide an update shortly. But
that'll come at the next quarter, next month.
I mean, he's asking for, I think we'd rather, usually we don't provide a projection until at least the first quarter is over. Really, the second quarter, we'll have a much better idea. But I think, I do think that anything within this first quarter of the fiscal year, Commissioner, would be a little too early to say where we are going to be next year.
Well, what I don't want it to do is slip up on us. I want to get some sense. I know we started this process a bit later. I hope there's a consensus it's going to start earlier.
Absolutely, Commissioner. We're already calendaring and looking at how to start the process earlier and how to incorporate feedback earlier, potentially have budget hearings much earlier in the year. We've absolutely heard the critique from last year, and in a tough budget year, we need to start earlier. In anticipation of a possible tough budget year, we need to start earlier.
What feedback are you getting from departments on how the freezes will impact their ability to deliver services?
I think departments are tight, right? It's going to be tight, especially as we ask them to do new things. But I do have to say that we're, only in mid-October. It just started. We really need until that November court another month to really start to see both the impact financially and what kind of savings we can project and some of the department impact. So I'm not trying to push off too far, Commissioner. I think you're right. We have to make sure that we're on top of this. But I do think we need a month into the fiscal year or so before we can really start to see what those impacts are.
Again, I just don't want to slip up on us.
Absolutely, sir.
I want to know, because I hear rumblings, and obviously there's always a reluctance. I've always found as an administrator, one of the biggest faults you can have is when you keep the bureaucracy from saying what it thinks. And then when it slips up to bite you, then you blame them and say that one didn't know.
Yeah. I think we have people have hunches and gut feels based on early numbers, but I do think it is wise to wait to see some numbers before we come back and make, we don't want to anchor people and then turn out to be wrong. Again, not saying we need the whole first quarter, but a month, 6 weeks would give us a good opportunity to have a better idea.
What was the process? Or what factors did you use in deciding to recommend these exemptions?
Our first core was really what Commissioner's Court passed. During the budget cycle, there was what were things like court identified departments that needed to be exempt. Law enforcement was one. HART as a division within public health. So mostly it was preferences on Commissioner's Court, and then departments came to us and made cases for operationally what was needed. There was a lot of discussion about libraries. Some libraries are small, so that a loss of a couple of FTEs could cripple the hours of that library. We took that into account. So it was those operational factors, as well as our statutory responsibilities and the preferences of court.
In terms of the wave that came in here, the vast majority of them are ones.
All right, we're listening to Commissioner's Court happening right now. We'll be right back after this short break. All right, now we are keeping a close eye on the Oval Office. We do expect President Donald Trump to make an announcement any moment. We don't know exactly what it is. We do know that he spoke with Putin earlier today and had a meeting, so it might be in regards to that, but that again, just speculation. But we are expected to hear some sort of an announcement, so we are keeping an eye on that. But we want to let you know about the Houston Fire Department. They were getting honored today for the July 4th floods and how they helped in the recovery process. And we're actually going to be hearing from a local family whose one daughter did survive those floods, but unfortunately another one did not survive. So let's listen in.
Fred Rogers from the beloved TV show Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood once said, "When I was a boy, I would see scary things in the news. And my mother would say to me, look for the helpers. You will always find people that are helping." The events that unfolded on July 2025 in Texas Hill Country were no exception. And the call for help came from area volunteer fire departments. We answered the call to assist our fellow Texans. When we arrived, the sheer magnitude of destruction was absolutely shocking. Historic cypress trees that stood tall for hundreds of years snapped like toothpicks. Personal belongings scattered everywhere with each their own identity to bear. Vehicles smashed beyond recognition and bare foundations that once supported a family's home and the scattered remains of the walls that held their stories. It was incredibly disheartening, yet almost too easy to feel doubt that a once beautiful community could ever rebuild again. But what gave hope was seeing the many people that were helping. It was truly amazing to work alongside many volunteers that included off-duty and retired first responders, healthcare workers, construction workers, even civilians, many of them being residents of the Hunt. But a very special few were there because they had a personal connection with one of the missing. Each story we heard was motivation to get to work and clear as many areas as we could possibly, as much as our bodies and mind could take. I saw firsthand volunteers and first responders working through fatigue and injury, and not once did they ever quit. I am truly proud of everyone here from the Houston Fire Department that answered the call. To the families that are here with us today, we are deeply honored to be a part of the recovery mission and profoundly grateful for the recognition you chose to share with us. But more importantly, we are truly sorry for the loss of your beautiful daughters. The incredible lives that each live will continue to inspire us to live more fully, to hold our loved ones closer, and to find strength in the face of sorrow. For us, their memory serves as a lasting reminder of what we do. It motivates us to every day to go above and beyond in our duties as firefighters. I promise you this, they will never be forgotten. Lastly, I would like to thank the following: to Mayor John Whitmire and our fire chief for honoring and hosting us. To Marty Langton, the Houston Professional Firefighter Association, for providing support and monetary donations for these beautiful gifts. To the Hunt Volunteer Fire Department, in conjunction with Aerial Recovery and Task Force Chase, for taking us on in official capacity, providing operational command, structure, communications, equipment, heavy machinery, supplies, and lodging so we could do our job safely and methodically. To Firefighter TJ Graff for crafting each shadow box by hand and working with the James Avery Jewelry Company for these beautiful personalized pendants. To all Houston firefighters that responded both on and off duty. And most importantly, to our own families, to whom, without your love, wisdom, and support, we could not do this job. Thank you.
Now we could have Jenny, please come up to the stage, please. And Gwen as well.
Good morning. My name is Jenny Getton, and I am Ellen and Gwen's mom. Unfortunately, they were both attending Camp Mystic on July 4th, 2025. I am here also representing 10 of the Heavens 27 families, including the families of Margaret Bellows, Chloe Childress, Molly DeWitt, Lucy Dillon, Catherine Ferruzzo, Mary Kate Jacoby, Lainey Landry, Blakely McCrory, Margaret Sheedy, and Greta Toronto. Thank you to Mayor Whitmire, Fire Chief Munoz, and all the firefighter volunteers. My family was first introduced to firefighter Tyler Graff, Captain Michael White, and their friend Tim LeBlanc on July 20th. They went above and beyond all expectations when they found my daughter Ellen's crock on the Guadalupe River bank. The crock still had her name inside of it, so they found her name and obituary online and found out what school she attended. They then contacted St. John's School, who put me in contact with the firefighters. Tyler, Michael, and Tim all came to my home to present a shadow memory box to Doug, Gwen, and me. All of these first responders are truly heroes, and their kindness and generosity will never be forgotten. They left their families and sacrificed their PTO and sick time to go find our girls and anyone else who was missing, and we will be forever grateful to them. They risked their lives and saw things that they cannot unsee, and they expected nothing in return. These first responders felt the call of duty to find our girls when the camp, who was supposed to keep them safe, failed them. Thank you for everything, and when we continue to pray that Seal Stewart will be found.
My name is Gwen Getton, and I am here to speak about our first responders for the Texas Hill Country flood. Even though I'm only 12, I have been through more than most 30-year-olds. That should not be okay. And I do not want anyone to have to experience what I endured on July 4th and the aftermath. Even though it was so scary and horrible, the only thing that made me feel safe was that there are firefighters searching for my sister. Your kind hearts made a light flicker in the darkness, and I am so touched that people went out of their way to do what was right. And I hope that they know that they made everyone's lights start to shine. Thank you so very much for your bravery. I want everyone watching to be so grateful that we have amazing first responders out there, and I want everyone to feel safe inside and out. Thank you.
What a very brave 12-year-old there. All right, we'll be right back. Getting ready for the FIFA World Cup 2026 right on here, Fox 26, where you can watch the FIFA World Cup come next summer. We are waiting for it. We have been for several years now, and we're preparing for it. So there's one local artist that is showcasing the game of soccer, or football like they like to call it in other parts of the world, actually everywhere else other than here in the United States. And the artist in the exhibit, it's only going to be one more day. So we were able to sit down with the artist that is, to get a first look.
So the idea behind this exhibition was to really give an opportunity to other artists that are also inspired by the beautiful game or soccer, and really advocate for this intersection between sports and art, which it can be something new, but it's something real. It's something where there is a lot of similarities, and that a lot of different artists are now getting inspired from. So about 2 months ago, I created a artist call, and we received 15 artists 15 different submissions from a very diverse pool of artists. We had men and women from different areas in Houston, 13 from Houston, 1 from Ireland, and 1 from England, and all of them with different medium. We have photography, we have painting, drawing, sculpture, and digital illustration. Yes, so the beautiful game, it is called because that's how sometimes you call soccer or football. It is a game that is beautiful for many people in the world. And I just decided to name it because I think it really goes with the exhibition here. We have really more than 15 artworks, which are beautiful. They're so interesting and just so unique. If you see around, you can see how every artist they express how they see the game or how they are inspired by the game. So I think that's beautiful, and it is just a sport. It is a game. So what a better way to express it than art?
Are you a fan yourself?
I'm a big fan, and I am an artist myself. And actually, football or soccer, it is a subject that allowed me to become an artist professionally since 2012.
Who's your favorite team?
My favorite team is Chivas from Guadalajara in Mexico. And I just love football in general. I watch a lot of it from different countries. To have the World Cup in Houston, it's the most exciting thing that can happen to any football fan because it is the biggest sporting event. It is a global, multicultural event where you see so much joy, a lot happening, a lot of different stories that we're gonna witness. And having a World Cup home, it is just a dream come true. It is surreal. Most of the times we have to, as fans, we have to travel and save money to attend these events. And now having it at home is gonna be just very, very exciting. I'm very excited that it's coming to Houston. It's interesting because, like I said, we have a very diverse pool of artists, and they're all from different backgrounds. So we're in front of Justin's drawing, which I think is also fantastic in many ways. First, his style is very unique. He uses a lot of line work in his drawings and paintings, and this is about a moment in time in Argentina where they do a grill or asado, where family, friends, they get together to watch soccer. So he portrays the TV with the game, people, some different teams playing there, the grill with the steak and the vegetables, the fire, kind of the texture of the facade, maybe of the building, and then the table with the sausages, the steak, so some of them drinking, talking. So he really captured that moment in his own style, and I think this is just also very beautiful. This is Valentina's work, and she's only 12 years old and so talented, so smart. She's good at communicating herself and expressing herself verbally and also visually, as you can see. She created 2 great sketches or drawings of her running, playing in an anime style. Let's talk about these 3 drawings from Brian Lagunas. He's a former student of Houston City College, and he studied art here, and he submitted these 3 beautiful, great drawings, color pencil with marker, and he portrayed 3 different concepts. So you have the dynamo flags, the colors, what you see in the stadium, and then this is very also unique drawing, and a lot of people would maybe recognize these tennis shoes, and also remember about the 90s, 80s of these Adidas shoes. But they're so well drawn, and the detail of it's fantastic. So now these Samba Adidas shoes are like an icon for a lot of people that like to play soccer, and in general, like the the sneaker culture, I think it keeps growing, but these are now classics, so I really liked it. And then he created this drawing of the ball, which if you play soccer, you know how a ball ends up all worn out, and then the other half, which is new. And this is a very iconic ball also from 1986 or 82 World Cup. So as many people know in soccer culture, the ball it's unique in a way of the design, how it was manufactured. A couple of weeks ago they revealed the one for next World Cup 2026, but this in particular was used in 1982 or 1986 World Cup. Being in this game, I think it's the most unique experience where you are watching your team either losing or winning, and really wearing those colors of that team, the uniforms of the team, and supporting something that you have faith, that you have passion for it. So I think it's just it is an interesting metaphor of how we as humans, we go so deep into passion for a game. So I think it's also beautiful that we can express that into an artwork. I think that this intersection between art and sports, it may seem different, but it's something that we're gonna start seeing more around the world. And I remember when I was just starting as an artist, they will see my artwork as very commercial, something that is not really fine art. But sports, and especially football, it's a sport that it's global, it's a phenomenon, it's something that we believe in. And other artists, they used to paint or portray what was happening back then. And I think this kind of sports, like the World Cup, it's huge. And we will witness that next year, where we are able to now capture that or express that into canvases, into sculptures, into illustrations, and just the different mediums that maybe 100 years later, we're gonna go back and see, okay, this is what used to happen back then, and especially in Houston. So exciting that it is coming to Houston, and like I said, all these different stories that we're going to witness, because every World Cup has its own details, history, and stories that we build. I just wanted to also thank all the artists, congratulate all these artists, because they did a really good job at creating these unique artworks, and also Houston City College, who are hosting this exhibition here. They have done an incredible job at helping me put all the resources needed for the exhibition. The gallery is beautiful, nice space, and it's a great exhibition. Hopefully we can repeat this next year, and I like to invite everyone to come see it.
All right, really exciting stuff there. FIFA World Cup coming here next year in Houston. All right, now let's go back to Commissioner's Court. They are meeting right now before Lena Hidalgo was speaking, and let's listen in to see what's going on.
That's all of these, and then let me see, 226, 249. So we still have 210, right? So 210 is not one of these. So let's go to 210. And that was flagged by Precinct 3. Am I mistaken? Okay.
No, that's it. I'm going to take 2 minutes and just brag on.
All right, this is happening right now at Commissioner's Court, but we're also keeping an eye on the Oval Office, where President Donald Trump is speaking, expected to make an announcement. Let's listen in.
So we'll talk about it maybe later. But it went very well. We're here today to announce a historic victory for American women, mothers, and families. With the actions I will outline this afternoon, will dramatically slash the cost of IVF and the treatment and many of the most common fertility drugs for countless millions of Americans. Prices are going way down, way down. I want to thank Libby Horn, who is the Senior Vice President of Fertility of EMD Serrano. So I want to thank you. Let's see here. That's what I thought. I thought it was you. Thank you, Libby, very much. And let me also thank the Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy, Jr., whose wife destroyed the people on The View yesterday. I have to say that. I'm not going to ever get into an argument with her. And you've decided, you learned that a long time ago. She did a great job, actually. Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick. Thank you, Howard. Secretary of Labor Lori Chavez de Rima. Thanks, Lori. Howard, thanks. CMS Administrator Dr. Mehmet Oz, who's a fantastic guy, and he's done really well. FDA Commissioner Marty McCary. Thank you, Marty. Senator Katie Britt, who got me started with this whole thing when she called up to say there was a bad ruling by a judge, right? We got to do something, sir, and we did it very quickly. Probably in 24 hours it was done. Congressman Richard Hudson, a great guy, and his wife Renee. Richard, hi, Richard. And Advocate Samantha Bush, who's a very respected person. For years, American couples struggling with infertility have faced crushing costs in their quest to start a family, and IVF is among the most expensive treatments of all. A single round of IVF in the United States can cost up to $25,000, can actually go a lot higher than that, and many couples require multiple rounds for a successful pregnancy. A major reason for these high prices is the excessive cost of the drugs involved. The number one fertility drug used in IVF is currently 700% more expensive in the United States than the rest of the world. And you know, we're ending all of that. It's called favored nations, and we're ending it, and we're ending it pretty fast. Nobody thought we'd be able to do it, and we've done it. Drugs are going to come down. Drug prices are coming down 400%, 200%, 600%, numbers that nobody's ever seen before. Great for Medicare, Medicaid, even Social Security. Great for everything, I think, Dr. Oz. So it's something that's, to me, it's very exciting. I'm bugging him and Bobby all the time. How are we doing with that? And we're doing really good, Bobby. Right? It's really going good. Other countries are agreeing to it, because if they don't, we put tariffs on them, and then they agree. So it's amazing. It's amazing how that worked out. But as an example, in London, you'd buy a certain drug for $130, and even less than that, I guess, $88 as of a count a month ago. And in New York, you pay $1,300 for the same thing. So now we're going to be paying, instead of $1,300, you'll be paying about $150. And they'll be paying $150 too. We're going to pay the same thing. Favored nations. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. And we've been ripped off by the whole world for a long period of time. One of the most popular fertility drug regimens costs over $5,000 per cycle, as an example. Wow. Largely as a result of these unsustainable prices, 70% of the employers do not offer insurance that covers IVF. Therefore, most couples with fertility challenges are paying these costs entirely out of their own pockets, which is not really possible to do. Oh, look who we have. Look at that, the great Maria Bartiromo. I didn't know. Did you get put into the regular pool pack? That's very good. No, that's good. Nice to see you. I'm doing an interview with her in a little while. In the Trump administration, we want to make it easier for all couples to have babies, raise children, and start the families they've always dreamed about. That's why today I'm pleased to announce that after extensive negotiations, EMD Serono, the largest fertility drug manufacturer in the world, has agreed to provide massive discounts to all fertility drugs they sell in the United States, including the most popular drug of all, the IVF drug Gonal-F. So it's Gonal-F. Is that a proper pronunciation?
Very
Close
well
enough,
done.
right?
Very well done.
Gonal-F. As part of this agreement, EMD Serono will list their fertility drugs online at trumprx.gov at very, very heavily reduced prices, prices that you won't even believe. And ultimately, that's because of the favored nations. In addition, the FDA will be working with the company to expedite review and approval of another common fertility IVF drug, and currently it's selling in Europe. It's Pergoveris. And that's a sounding nice name. Pergo, Veris. Why can't you name them nice, simple names? Nice, easy names. Doesn't matter. If it works, that's all we care about, right? Upon approval, this drug would directly compete against a much more expensive option that currently has a monopoly in the American market, and this will bring down costs very significantly. And the other one's going to have to come down also. Finally, EMD Serrano has agreed that all future drugs and everything that it develops and sells in the United States will be offset at most favored nation prices. I've been after this for a long time, and we started the process in the last administration, and then we had a little thing called COVID that came up. We had to focus on that, did a good job on that too. And they'll bring a significant portion of their drug manufacturing back to the United States. So they're going to bring it largely back into the United States, and that's for a lot of reasons, but primarily because of the election result, November 5th, and maybe most importantly because of the tariffs, because if they do it here, there are no tariffs. So we're going to be very close, I think, by the end of this year. We're going to be very close to $20 trillion in investment. As an example, the Biden administration had less than $1 trillion, substantially less than $1 trillion for 4 years, Maria. Can you imagine? 4 years, less than one. We're going to break $20 trillion of investment, and we're already over $17 trillion, and that's in 8 months. Can you believe that? And he was at less than $1 trillion. And in addition to that, he had open borders, allowing millions of people to pour in. What an administration that was. Worst president in history, by far. As a result of these actions, the per-cycle cost of drugs used in IVF will fall by an estimated 73% for American consumers, and the numbers are going to actually be very substantially higher as time goes by when it really kicks in. For most of, I mean, think of those numbers. You know, I told the story last time because we were with Pfizer, and Pfizer's doing something very similar. But I told them that my first term, I was so proud of myself because I was the first president in 28 years where drug prices went down for the year. And you know what? They went down 1/8 of 1%. But I was so 1/8 of 1%. Now I'm getting them down, Maria, 500, 600, 800%. In some cases, even more than that. It's hard to believe. But I was proud. I said, oh, wow, I'm the first one. 1/8 of 1%. And I was proud of that. Now I realize, and I called a news conference. Some of you were at that news conference, actually. And I said, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations. We've gone down by 1/8 of 1%. And now we're going down 500, 600, 700, 800%, Richard. So it's really something. For most administrations and all of the people involved in this kind of thing, this action would be a crowning achievement of their agenda for fertility health. But for us, it's really just the beginning. It's just the start. It's one of many things we're doing. Today, we're also taking historic steps to vastly expand access to insurance coverage for fertility care, including IVF, something that, as you know, was not covered. Effective immediately, for the first time ever, we will make it legal for companies to offer supplemental insurance plans specifically for fertility. It's never been done before. We're signing it in today with what we signed. Americans will be able to opt in to specialized coverage just as they get vision and dental insurance. They're going to get fertility insurance for the first time. So I don't know. I don't know how well these things are covered. I see the Democrats like to take credit for all of the things we do. We do the things and they take the credit. But I figure if you do enough of these, eventually people are going to figure it out. The Democrats have done nothing. This will make all fertility care, including IVF, far more affordable and accessible. And by providing coverage at every step of the way, it will reduce the number of people who ultimately need to resort to IVF because couples will be able to identify and address problems early. The result will be healthier pregnancies, healthier babies, and many more beautiful American children. It's a big factor. It's a big deal. I'm asking all employers to make these new fertility benefit options available to their employees immediately. The initiatives I've just announced are the boldest and most significant actions ever taken by any president to bring the miracle of life into more American homes. And I will say Katie was great. As you know, she's a great senator from Alabama. She's the first one that told me about this. I had not known too much about it, and we worked very rapidly together, didn't we, though?
Mr. President, you
We had everything passed, and Alabama then took care of it and passed it. Within a week, everything was done. Really, it was something. So I want to thank Katie, Brett. There's no deeper happiness and joy of raising children, and now millions of Americans struggling with infertility will have a new chance to share the greatest experience of them all. So I'd like to thank all of the people that are here, and I think we'll start with Dr. Oz and Ms. Horn. We'll go through the list and we'll listen. And yesterday I did this, and I stood for about an hour and a half as people spoke. And I said, this time I'm sitting right there, and I'm going to watch you. I stood for an hour and a half like this. I said, you got to be kidding. Here we go. It was one after another, and it was wonderful listening to them. But I said, if I have to do this every day, Bobby, should I stand or sit? Thank you, Bob. Please, Dr. Oz.
Okay. Mr. President, I'm going to jump in here real quick. I want to start by thanking President Trump. Sir, from the very first phone call we ever had, your support was strong. It was steadfast. It was unwavering. And because of you, millions of Americans are going to have a greater opportunity to bring the greatest gift, in my opinion, life into this world. Your support, your administration's support, it's a game changer. All of us here today are aligned. This is a celebration of life. It's a celebration of parents. It's a celebration of families. And it's a celebration for those people who want to one day be parents themselves. I think every parent can attest, and I certainly do myself, that the greatest gift that God has ever given me is the ability to be a mom. We want more people to have that opportunity. We want to make that easier and more affordable. IVF is what makes the difference for so many families that are facing infertility. So you've seen the numbers. It's either 1 in 8 couples, or some people say as much as 1 in 6, are actually experiencing issues with fertility. It's 9% of males and at least 11% of females that are facing these challenges as they work to build their family. The recommendations today that President Trump has set forth are going to expand IVF coverage to nearly 1 million more families, and they're going to drive down cost significantly. Mr. President, this is the most pro-IVF thing that any president in the history of the United States of America has done. And Mr. President, it's your leadership. You are the reason why the Republican Party is now the party of parents. We are the party of families. This is why when Senator Cruz and I worked last year, we got every single Republican senator to sign on and say that they supported nationwide access to IVF. And just for the record, IVF is legal and accessible in all 50 states. And President Trump taking this action today to lower cost, to bring these issues to the forefront, and to enact solutions for people working to start their families. I want you to know it's significant, and there's more to come. But this isn't the only thing that you've done to prove that we're the party of parents and we're the party of families. If you look at the working family tax cut, guys, he made sure that hard-working parents were front and center in that legislation. You know, whether it was child tax credits being expanded and made permanent, whether it was Trump accounts that are going to change the game for so many parents, or whether it was childcare. So for decades, we have heard Democrats talk about childcare. President Trump actually took action on the affordability and accessibility of childcare. We know that 1 in 4 families say that they hesitate to have more children because of the cost and because of childcare cost. For the first time, this man actually took steps to change the dynamics for hardworking parents. So of the 3 tax credits that he reformed and the working families tax cuts, 2 of them had not been touched in 2 decades, and 1 of them had not been touched since 1986. So President Reagan was in office the last time anybody did anything about it. But you changed the game on that, and I was proud to lead that effort in the Senate. And so on behalf of moms and dads, on behalf of grandparents and sisters and aunts and uncles and brothers and people who are looking to expand their family, we say thank you. Thank you for all you do to support families in this country and make a healthier environment and an easier one for us to grow the very most important thing.
Great, thank you.
God bless.
So nice. Thank you very much.
So let's set the stage. To put it in perspective, 2 weeks ago, as President Trump alluded, a leading U.S. drug manufacturer came into this room and agreed to do something none of us thought was possible. A most favored nation agreement with numbers, again, inconceivable. Last week, a leading company from Europe, a global leader in the pharmaceutical sector, came to this office, made the same kind of commitment for most favored nation pricing, again, because the president insisted on it and was persistent, and he alluded to the fact that he was calling Secretary Kennedy and me quite a bit. He definitely was, with great insights into the process and would not hold back. But I think what you're seeing today is something even larger. It's larger because we're now showing that MFN is a tool that can get other initiatives going as well. We are revealing perhaps the most important MFN opportunity at all, because it's about procreation. It's about babies. It turns out that MFN is a tool for a lot of things, and it goes without saying that you get the drug pricing down, but lots of other business necessities become possible when that occurs. So Secretary Kennedy and I, who's a wonderful leader, talk frequently about family. I think the reason he's a great leader, and the president as well, is because they have large families and they take pride in the joy that it gives us. But many families, as Senator Britt alluded, do not have the ability to have children. But it turns out that it's about 1 in 3 families, a much higher number, that don't have the number of babies they desire. They're under-babied. So this president committed to address that during the campaign, and he is delivering on that today in a way I don't think anyone thought was possible. We are opening the door with MFN pricing and tariffs that support it, Secretary Lutnick, with a new approach to make reproductive medicine more affordable for Americans. Now, I know what you're all thinking, and you're probably right. There are going to be a lot of Trump babies. I think that's probably a good thing. But it turns out the fundamental creative force in society is about making babies. It's about creating. And this country, the one that President Trump is leading so beautifully, has been a country of abundance, not scarcity. To have abundance, you have to address the fact that we had 3.6 million babies last year, which is beautiful. 3.6 million miracles. That's 500,000 less babies than we would ideally have had, even to replace our current population. Building on the success of the last 2 weeks, our team, led by the head of Medicare, Chris Klump, who's standing over there, and Ina Hernandez, have negotiated a spectacular MFN deal to reduce the cost of IVF drug prices by $2,200 a cycle. That's nearly half of the price that it had been. The most prescribed drug in this category in America, made by India Serrano, is described over here, and you'll notice President Trump, these are discounted from $242 to $10. I don't know what the math is on that. We can't even calculate it. A lot. It's a lot. It's too high to calculate without a more studied approach. But I give it up there because that number of $10 will apply for every American who earns less than $115,000 a year. That's 70% of the American people. The remaining folks who are able to make more will have to pay a tiny bit more, but it's still most favored nation pricing, no different from what the Europeans are willing to pay. Now, to make this deal happen, Chris and INMA had to do something special. They had to actually not just get the drug price down, but get the middlemen to let it go as well. And Mr. President, we've met with the middlemen in the past. They're now joining the MFN movement. I want to thank Express Scripts Freedom Pharmacy and then CVS's Specialty Pharmacy, because they were willing to stand up and do the right thing for the American people by answering the president's call and slashing their prices. Now, this announcement also encompasses a remarkable move from Marty Makary. And Marty Makary is, of course, the leader of the FDA, but he has ongoing efforts to accelerate their approval of innovative medicines that will further reduce the price and make this whole process more seamless for the American people. Now, you're about to hear about a spectacular new program that's been alluded to, but one of the architects of that program, Heidi Overton, Deputy Director of the White House Domestic Policy Council, is going to take us through the exciting details of what this is going to offer for the American people, especially those who are in the workforce. But first, we think you should hear from Libby Horn. Libby is EMD Serrano's head of fertility. She brings both professional expertise and a personal connection to this work. She has 3 beautiful daughters, and she has personally benefited from reproductive medicine that has shaped her family, and her company made today's spectacular MFN pricing possible. Libby.
Thank you, Dr. Oz. Thank you, Mr. President. Today, we gather on this national stage to celebrate a historic step forward in expanding access to fertility treatments for those who need it most. Mr. President, thanks to your leadership and the tireless efforts of your team, this is a momentous day for Americans who struggle but remain hopeful to build their families. Infertility is on the rise in our country. 1 in 8 couples face infertility. This isn't just a number, it's real lives, dreams, and aspirations of hardworking Americans. The teacher who goes to school each day, surrounded by children, but aching for children of her own. The firefighter who puts his life on the line, but can't create the life he wants at home. The consequences of these challenges can take significant tolls. Some of you watching today have given up or are frustrated because access to IVF treatments has been out of reach. That's why expanding access to IVF has been an issue of great importance to the President. He made this clear in his executive order declaring the administration's goal of supporting American families by enabling access and eliminating barriers to IVF. Today, EMD Serrano is proud to help President Trump deliver on his promise to you. Thanks to the President's leadership, EMD Serrano has worked alongside distributors and other partners to help more families have access to services and innovations that are consistent with other countries. Through our partnership with the administration, we are proud to announce that Americans will have access to our leading IVF therapies for an 84% discount off list prices. That's amazing. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. Thank you for making this possible.
Thank you very much. It's great. Fantastic.
For more than 40 years, EMD Serrano has been a global leader in fertility. Our science was instrumental in the birth of the first IVF baby in the U.S., and we've helped to bring more than 6 million babies into the world since then. Our purpose is to help create, improve, and prolong life. That means discovering more medicines and bringing them to patients faster. FDA Commissioner Makary has made it a priority to ensure that Americans have access to the world's most innovative treatments as quickly as possible. To that end, EMD Serrano is filing a new IVF therapy called Pergoveris for review under the FDA Commissioner's National Priority Voucher Program. If approved, Pergoveris would combine 2 key reproductive hormones in synergy designed to mimic reproductive physiology. This therapeutic option could mean fewer injections, fewer copays, and lower self-pay cost, all of which make a real difference in the IVF patient experience. In closing, on behalf of EMD Serrano, I want to send my heartfelt thanks to President Trump and the entire administration for their leadership and vision in this critical area of healthcare. Together, we will make a difference in the lives of countless families across this nation and uphold our long-standing legacy of creating life. Thank you.
Mr. President, thank you for your bold leadership that's allowed our teams to go far beyond what anyone thought was possible. On behalf of the Domestic Policy Council and Vince Haley here, we would like to also thank all the agency partners and the stakeholders that we worked with to get to the solution today that will make a real impact for families. Specifically, today's historic actions, 4 in total that you see, are made possible by coordination of all of the White House team and 7 agencies, many of who are represented here, and their teams that have worked tirelessly. As you described, Mr. President, the current system isn't working. 7 in 10 Americans don't have coverage to IVF. They face high costs and uncertain outcomes. And there's intense demand for fertility benefits. 65% of Americans say that they would leave their current job just because of fertility benefits. So you asked us to lower costs and to fix the broken incentives in healthcare. In addition to lowering the cost of drugs by 73% or $2,200 per cycle, which if you missed it, most people require 2 or 3 cycles. So that's significant savings for families. I'm also going to briefly outline the new solution for coverage. This is a new fertility benefit option that employers can immediately offer to their employees starting today. This afternoon, the Departments of Labor, Health and Human Services, and Treasury will be releasing guidance that, for the first time, creates a legal pathway for employers to offer fertility benefit packages to people that need them, similar to how dental, vision, and life insurance are currently offered. This will be followed up by a regulation. These benefits can address the continuum of fertility needs, from the root causes of IVF, which Secretary Kennedy is working on very hard at HHS, to it'll be a coordinated package that does not exist in traditional health insurance today. It'll make it easier for employers, including small and mid-sized employers, to compete for talented employees. Currently, many small businesses cannot afford to offer fertility benefits at all. This is making it possible for them to offer benefits the same way that large companies like Amazon and others offer benefits. This is a pro-family benefit expansion that will transform clinical outcomes by addressing fragmented coverage and care. I'm a physician by training, and it's very important that we have high-quality care. Fertility benefit companies are poised to offer packages that have reported so far roughly 25% higher live birth rates for those that seek care compared to those that don't have such benefits. They also report fewer cycles to achieve pregnancy, improved natural pregnancy rates through better care before you need IVF, and reduced chance of miscarriages, a 21% reduction in miscarriage rate. Leading physicians in the field have also relayed that these types of benefits significantly improve the patient and doctor experience, allowing both to focus on care rather than navigating the bureaucracy. These impacts are very personal. Here with us today are my good friends, Congressman Richard Hudson of North Carolina and his wife, Renee Hudson. Both have worked in public service for years, including Renee for all 4 years of your past administration, Mr. President, and they struggled with infertility. Today they have a beautiful son who's their pride and joy. He's an amazing boy. But they also suffered multiple losses throughout their fertility journey, something that is very common. Unfortunately, too many people go through the hard, arduous process of IVF and still result in a miscarriage. So today, your option is not only saving money, it's going to improve the quality of care significantly. This new benefit option simultaneously represents the greatest opportunity to expand coverage of IVF that the federal government has ever taken, while also improving the care delivered. Additionally, and very importantly, it gives employers maximum flexibility to design benefits that are consistent with their values. Put simply, this new fertility benefit option means lower costs and more healthy babies. So today, this announcement, we are realigning the industry towards the simple metric of more healthy babies at lower costs. I would now like to introduce Samantha Bush, the wife of NASCAR driver Kyle Busch, who's been a leading advocate for IVF access and affordability after your own infertility journey. Thank you, Mr. President.
Hello, everyone. My husband, Kyle, and I battled infertility for over a decade before being blessed with our 2 beautiful children, Brexton, who's 10, and our daughter, Lennox, who's now 3. But our journey was long and painful. We faced 6 rounds of IVF, multiple miscarriages, multiple failed cycles, and countless moments of heartbreak. We faced the roller coaster of hope and devastation that so many families know all too well. Through it all, we held on to faith, each other, and the belief that somehow, someday, God would turn our pain into purpose. We also saw firsthand the staggering financial burden that comes with infertility treatments. Sitting in the waiting room of our fertility clinic, we overheard another couple quietly say that money was the only thing standing in their way of having their family. In that moment, Kyle and I looked at each other, and we knew God was planting a seed in our hearts, a calling to take action. In 2015, that calling became the Bundle of Joy Fund, a nonprofit foundation dedicated to providing financial assistance to couples struggling with infertility. What began as a small act of faith has now grown into something far greater than we could have ever imagined. To date, we've granted over $2 million directly to individuals, helping them pay for their IVF treatments, and we've celebrated the birth of 108 beautiful babies through our fund. Each baby is a living, breathing testament to hope, community, and God's grace. For every tear we cried, for every shot we gave, every doctor's appointment that ended in disappointment, Kyle and I knew there had to be a greater reason. This was God's plan for us, to use our journey to advocate, empower, and be the voice to those battling in silence. Over the past 12 years, we've worked hard to raise awareness, erase stigma, and bring hope to the 1 in 6 couples that will face infertility. Infertility can be incredibly isolating. It can leave you questioning your faith, your body, and your future. But it can also reveal a strength that you never knew you had inside of you. It can deepen love, it can bring couples closer together, and it unites people through a shared struggle. Our goal has always been to show others that they are not alone, that there is a powerful community of infertility warriors behind them. Today, seeing President Trump acknowledge infertility on a national stage is profoundly moving. It's no longer a whispered conversation behind closed doors. It is a recognized, validated struggle that so many families have to endure. His leadership reminds us that those in positions of power can make real and lasting changes for generations to come. Their willingness to bring this issue forward shows that they not only hear our community, but they truly care about us. Thank you, Mr. President, and to your family for shining a light on infertility and for standing by couples like Kyle and I, for standing by couples who only want to hear the words mommy and daddy, who want to watch our children open their Christmas presents on Christmas morning, who want to see the world anew through the joy in their kids' eyes. Your acknowledgement honors the power of family, faith, and love, the very values that make America the greatest country in the world. It's proof that when promises are made and promises are kept, lives are changed forever. Thank you, Mr. President.
Anybody else? Howard, would you like to say a couple?
No.
I was hoping you would say that. Bobby, come on up for a second. What a job you're doing. Yeah, say a few words, Bobby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for your vision, your commitment to our country. When my uncle was president, the fertility rate in this country was 3.5%. Today, it is 1.6%. The replacement rate, in other words, the amount of fertility that you need in order to keep your population even, is 2.1%. We are below replacement right now. That is a national security threat to our country. And we know why this is happening. And President Trump is addressing the root causes through his MAHA agenda of reducing endocrine disruptors, the exposure to chemicals that decrease fertility. Today, the average teenager in this country has 50% of the sperm count, 50% of the testosterone as a 65-year-old man. Our girls are hitting puberty 6 years earlier. And that's bad, but also our parents aren't having children. Parents who want to have children do not have access. I have 7 children. I feel that God has blessed me with that, and I can't imagine how different my life would be if I did not have that blessing. I want to point out also that this morning Harvard University released a study that showed that the obesity rates have now climbed over 70%. And this, again, is for the same reason we're flooding our kids. We're poisoning mass poisoning a generation of kids with chemicals. President Trump has instructed us to stop these problems at the root cause. He's also recognized that there are people who are injured, people who are not living their life to the fullest, and he's addressing that. Last week, we made GLP drugs available at Most Favored Nation. And this week, it's IVF. Oh, I want to thank you so much for that, Mr. President. I saw on an airplane the other day, you said that you didn't believe that you were going to get to heaven. You're doing God's work here. You've made peace in the Middle East, which is beyond anybody's imagination. And now you're giving millions of Americans a chance to have babies. And you're doing this while the government is locked down by the Democrats. But this administration has not stopped working for the American people. And that's because of your energy, your commitment, your vision, and I want to thank you for allowing me to be part of it.
And he's doing a great job. And by the way, Kyle is fantastic. So he's got a lot of courage. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't care. Howard, you and I would not be good at that. We'd go about 30 miles an hour, but we'd be safe. Anyway, so thank you very much. Any questions, please?
Mr. President, you posted earlier today.
Yeah, please.
Mr. President, this is a major campaign promise that you made. It was a big hot topic towards the end of the election. You're delivering on that again. I actually had a question for Secretary Kennedy or Dr. Heidi. Dr. Heidi, you said something that I thought was really important. You talked about how this coverage option, this benefit option, gives companies the maximum flexibility to design benefits consistent to their values. I was wondering if either you or the President could expand on that and talk about why that's an important thing to understand about this program.
Yes. Thank you. It's a great question. We think that employers are best situated to know what them and their employees want to contribute to in relation to their benefits. So employers are going to be able to decide how to cover the root causes of infertility, things like obesity, metabolic health, and other things that are impacting infertility. And also, if they want to encourage their employees to see certain types of doctors, and they can work with providers that are identifying the highest quality fertility providers. And so it puts them in the driver's seat. And our view is that we want employers to be the ones that can make those decisions, not the government. Thank you.
All right. That's a good answer. Yeah, well, that's a very good answer. Yeah, please, go ahead.
Mr. President, previously you did not seem to be bothered regarding Hamas cracking down on what you called gangs, actually, a couple of gangs. And today you issued a threat against Hamas on Truth Social. What has changed?
And what was said? Go ahead.
You said if they continue keep killing innocents in Gaza, that if that continues, the United States will go after them.
I issued a strong statement. That's right.
But they used to be gangs, and now you're saying innocents. What made you think they're innocents now?
Well, I'm looking at what's happening, and that wasn't the deal that was made, and we'll see what happens. It's calmed down. It's a tough neighborhood. We know that. We have a commitment from them, and I assume they're going to honor that commitment. I hope they do. And I understand they brought back some additional bodies today. It's a rough deal when you think of it, right? Very rough. And we have our hostages back completely. We were very lucky with that. But it's a tough situation. They brought back bodies today, as you probably know. But they also said they're going to behave. We're going to find out if they behave. If they behave good, if they don't behave, we'll take care of it. Yeah, please.
Following up on that, Mr. President,
I didn't say you CNN fake news. Go ahead.
You said in your post that if
but to go in and kill them. So do you mean U.S. forces would go in and take out Hamas?
No, I didn't say who would go in, but somebody will go in. It's not going to be us. We won't have to. There are people very close, very nearby that will go in. They'll do the trick very easily, but under our auspices.
Could I follow up? You also posted about your call with President Putin today, and you spoke about the meeting in Hungary with him. Do you have a timeline or a date set for when?
Yeah, I would say within 2 weeks or so, pretty quick. Marco Rubio is going to be meeting with his counterpart, as you know, Lavrov, and they'll be meeting pretty soon. They're going to set up a time and a place very shortly. Maybe it's already set up. They've already spoken. And I thought it was a very good phone call. I thought very productive. But I'll be meeting with President Putin, and we'll make a determination. Tomorrow I'm meeting with President Zelensky, and I'll be telling him about the call. I mean, we have a problem. They don't get along too well, those two, and it's sometimes tough to have meetings, so we may do something where we're separate but equal. We'll meet and talk parties, but this is a terrible relationship the two of them have, and it's one of those things. I've seen things that nobody would believe, but this is one of them. So we're going to be meeting in Hungary. Viktor Orban is going to be hosting, and it's really something that's time. Last week, over 7,000 people were killed. That's ridiculous. And, you know, it doesn't affect our country. We're not losing people. We're not losing Bobby. We're not losing Americans. But they're losing Russians, Ukrainians, mostly soldiers, for the most part, soldiers. And we think we're going to get it. We hope we're going to get it stopped. I thought this.
All right, that's all the time we have for Houston Live and Local. I'm Caroline Collins. Thanks so much for tuning in. Catch me on Caroline and Rashi in just a few minutes.